Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to campus. It's my pleasure to officially welcome you here tonight. My name is Jan Larson. I'm the Director of Marketing and Communications for Dakota Wesleyan University. As part of our mission, DWU strives to cultivate a really transformative learning experience that promotes special programs like this, where our staff, our students, our faculty, and our community can really learn leadership values. We challenge all members of our university community to be leaders of character who maximize their strengths and their passions in their personal and professional lives. And as a leader, I know that if I'm not learning, I'm not leading. So we must continue to challenge ourselves to recognize that everyone has an opportunity to lead, whether it's in the classroom, the boardroom, at church, in the community, or even at home. We all have an opportunity where we can rise to the occasion. So I'm personally excited to hear Mr. Fredenburg's speech tonight, where I can actually learn something new too. So I want to give special recognition to a couple of folks who made this night possible. Of course, Lori Johnson. Did she sneak out of the room? There you are, Lori. Hi. Our Director of TRIO Student Support Services planned this event and did a wonderful job. Thanks, Lori, for all of your hard work. I also want to recognize the entire TRIO department for helping sponsoring this event tonight. And Ryan Chase, our Student Senate President, for also helping to organize. So thank you, Ryan. As well as, yeah, we can clap. That's good. Yeah. As well as our physical plant crew, Sandy Christofferson, who set this room up for us, and our IT folks up in the booth. Thank you for your work tonight. So without further ado, I will invite Sierra Crater up to introduce our speaker tonight. Thank you and have a great evening.
Joshua Fredenburg is a nationally recognized speaker, author of 5 books, TEDx speaker, president of the award-winning Circle of Change Leadership Experience, and husband and father of 2 amazing children that specializes in leadership development, diversity and inclusion, retention, and generational issues. For the past 13 years, Joshua has not only served as a keynote speaker in 44 states across the nation, but he has transformed the lives of thousands of people as a keynote speaker, workshop presenter, trainer, and facilitator at different leadership and diversity conferences, retreats, and trainings. In addition to a successful speaking career, Joshua obtained a master's degree in organizational leadership from Biola University in 2008 and is planning to receive his doctoral degree in organizational leadership from Nova Southeastern University in June of 2019. Also, in 2018, Joshua received an honorary membership from Golden Key International, was recognized as a top leader under 40 in South Florida in 2017, had his National Leadership Conference selected by the NASPA Student Affairs Professionals in Higher Education Student Leadership Program's Knowledge Community as the top student leadership development program for 2015. And he received a Community Leadership Award from the Urban League Young Professionals of Los Angeles for his work in developing the next generation of leaders in 2015 as well. Mr. Fredenburg's academic accomplishments, research on leadership and generational issues, business success, and positive impact as a mentor of the next generation of leaders has positioned him to provide great value to organizations and companies. His number one goal as a speaker is to change lives, provide every audience with quality content that leads to positive results, and inspire people to reach their fullest potential and make a positive impact in the world. Let's give a warm welcome to our speaker, Joshua Fredenburg.
Awesome. Fantastic. Can we give Sierra a big round of applause? Awesome. Great. Well, I want to first of all begin by saying it's a pleasure and it's an honor to be here today with each and every one of you. Thank you for taking your time to come out this Friday evening to be part of this presentation. I know that your time is important, and I don't take your time for granted. And I really do believe with all of my heart that you're going to be given some great information that's going to help you in your journey towards personal, career, and leadership success. So give yourselves a round of applause for coming out tonight. Awesome. Secondly, there's a couple things I want to do. How many of you listen to music when you study? Anybody listen to music when they study? Awesome. I listen to music when I study as well. And the truth be told, I wish I was a singer. I wish I had a voice. I wish I could get up here and really just begin to sing. But the reality is I don't have a voice. And if I tried to sing, you would probably throw tomatoes at me. But I've been trying to figure out how can I incorporate music into my presentation. And I had an idea a couple of years ago where I had what I call an invisible keyboard player. And as I begin to speak, you'll hear music in the background. The music's not on yet, but it's going to come on. And it's just something that I like to have when I speak. Keeps me inspired. And I just like to have music while I'm talking. So just want to give you an FYI about that. Sounds good? Awesome. The second thing I want to do before we get started, if you can find someone in the room, if you can point to them and just remind them, you look awesome today. Awesome, awesome. If you can find another person in the room and point to them and tell them you are destined to make an impact in the world. Awesome. And if you can repeat to me, someone say, today is a good day. Because I look good, I'm incredible, I'm amazing, and I'm outstanding. And I believe no fear, no doubt, no challenge, no obstacle will stop me from reaching my fullest potential. I am absolutely amazing. Give yourself a round of applause. Awesome, awesome. I'm a firm believer in the power of words. I believe in the power of positive affirmation. And so I always like to begin with that. So the music's going to come up in a minute. And then since someone is watching, for those that are watching, we want to welcome you into this session as we get ready to get in this journey dealing with your leadership brand. Real quick, just tell someone your leadership brand. Oh yeah, I do a lot of callbacks, y'all. So I want to begin. So there was a study by a research company, and they went to a set of colleges and they asked themselves the question, what are the top brands amongst the college audience? And the top brands that they came up with in their study, one was Whole Foods, one was Apple, Panda Express, Target, Dunkin' Donuts, and Starbucks. These were considered the top brands amongst college students based on the select colleges that this company decided to pursue in discovering what are the top brands amongst college students. Now, anyone that's a marketing major, anyone that's a business major understands the importance of branding. They understand why this is so important for companies as it relates to their business success, because companies understand that if my brand is awesome, if my brand is effective, if my brand is great, not only does it increase my value and my revenue, but it also brings motivation and direction to our employees, and it allows us to be that much more effective in what a company desires to do. In essence, when the brand is popular, when the brand is something that people enjoy, not only do we have more value, not only is there more money made, but it actually affects our behavior, how we react and how we treat. One of the things I've discovered is that we react to things based on our perception of what it is. I tell people all the time, when someone has a positive perception about a brand or about a restaurant or about a particular event or a particular artist, it's going to affect your behavior and how you treat that particular person or situation. A great example of this is this ring. This is my wedding ring. This is what signifies the marriage between me and my wonderful wife. And if I came in here today and I showed you this wedding ring and I took the wedding ring and I threw it against the wall, many of you in the room would say I'm a weirdo, and you would say this guy is crazy. You probably wouldn't care as much, but you would say this guy has really lost his mind, and something's just off. I think I need to walk out of the room right now because he seems a little crazy. Now, if I did this with my wife in the room, my wife would be upset, she would be irate, and there's no telling what she would say to me in front of all of you, because she values the ring at a different level based on your value of the ring. And based on her perception of the ring and the value in which this ring is, it affects how she responds or how she will react to me when I throw the ring versus if you saw me throw the ring, because of her perception or because of how she values this particular ring. Am I making sense? And this is what a brand is. A brand affects our behavior. A brand affects our reaction. A brand affects how we treat things. A brand affects how we spend our money. A brand affects how we feel about certain things. And so companies understand the importance of branding. They understand the importance of creating an effective brand. But what's so important for you to understand is you have to understand that as leaders, we have a brand as well. There is a leadership brand. I love what Seth Goodwin says, and he says from a business standpoint, he says, a brand is a set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that taken together account for a consumer's decision to choose one product or service over another. So in essence, what he is saying is he's saying the brand of a company, similar to the brand of a leader, can affect our decision making. The brand of a leader can affect whether or not you want to be led by that person. The brand of a leader can determine whether or not the leader is going to be effective or not. And so as leaders, we not only got to be concerned about the skill sets to be an effective leader, but we have to be concerned about what is our brand as a leader. Because our brand as a leader not only affects the value in which we give to the people that have the opportunity to lead, but our brand as a leader can affect the result and our effectiveness as a leader. And that's just what I found out in life that your leadership brand, whatever that may be, not only affects your personal success, but it affects your career success and affects your leadership success as well. And it's one of the reasons I love this quote by Glenn Lopez. He says, and I quote, he says, developing your personal brand is essential for the advancement of your career and development as a leader. So what he says, understand that just like a company, as an individual, you have a brand. There is something that you give off to other people. There is a way in which people perceive you. There is a way in which people define you as a leader. There is a brand that we all have. And if I'm going to be successful in my career, if I'm going to be successful in life, if I'm going to be an effective leader, I got to be aware of my brand and I got to create the right brand. Are you still here? I got to create the right brand because my brand will ultimately affect my success. And he feels this is so important that he challenges people to really look within and ask themselves the question, what is my brand? What do I represent? How do people feel about me? What kind of experiences am I giving as a leader? Because what he discovered is this, he discovered most people have not even considered their leadership brand. He discovered that most people have not taken the time to really look within and ask themselves the question, what is my brand as a leader? What am I giving off? What do people experience? How do people feel about me? Because all this affects your effectiveness as a leader. And I found that there's so many amazing people that have potential and have gifts and have these great qualities and have this ability to do some incredible things as leaders. But I found that sometimes we don't reach our fullest potential because we're not aware of what our leadership brand is. We're not aware of the value we bring to our organization. We're not aware of the value we can bring to a campus community. We're not aware of what that value is. And when we identify our leadership brand, not only are we focused, but we begin to identify the value that we can bring to other people as a leader. And based on the importance of this concept, my goal tonight is really simple. I'm going to give you 4 questions. Someone say 4 questions. I'm going to give you 4 questions to consider as you build your leadership brand. One of the things I like about this presentation, similar to diversity, inclusion, emotional intelligence, even when I talk about resilient leadership tomorrow, is this is not something you can hear and automatically you're going to see the benefit of having a leadership brand. This is actually something where you have to hear the instruction I'm giving you, and you have to go home and really begin to ask yourself some questions and really begin to define what is your leadership brand? What does that look like? What is your brand statement? How do people see you as a leader? And then once you identify what that is, I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to talk about how to build the brand and how to position yourself so that you can see the benefits of a leadership brand. So I'm excited today because you're getting some information that is going to propel you or is going to position you not only for success from a career standpoint, but also from a leadership standpoint as well. So real quick, give someone a high five and say, number one. Number one, let's get into it. Number one. The first question we got to ask ourselves in creating the brand is what qualities, characteristics do you possess that bring value to others? So the first question I got to ask myself is, what qualities or characteristics? What are my strengths? What is it that I do really well that brings value to other people? What is my passion? What excites me? What motivates me that brings value to other people? What experiences? What things have I been through life that are valuable to other people? My personality type. What is unique about who I am that brings value to other people? I love what my friend Jonathan Sprinkle says. He says, you're not a copycat, you're an original. And we all are unique in our own way. We all have our unique personality. Although we're similar, we have our uniqueness. And I think sometimes people shy away from the uniqueness, not understanding that your uniqueness is actually value to other people because only you can deliver it. There's certain things that only you can deliver as a leader, and the more you can identify what that difference and what that unique is, the more you can position yourself not only for success as a leader, but ultimately success in your own personal and career journey. So I got to ask myself the question, what are the qualities and characteristics that I possess to add value? Because if I'm really going to create a leadership brand, if I'm really going to add value to others, I got to be aware of what is inside of me that's going to enable me to add value. And by the way, we all have something on the inside. We all have gold on the inside. I love one of my quotes I use in one of my presentations. It says, every time a child is born, a solution is brought into the world. And I love that because each of us has something to give to the world. Each of us has something to give to the community, but we have to take the time to identify, to discover what is that on the inside that I'm able to add value. Because I have learned that effective leaders add value to other people. I mean, when I think about great leaders, I've found that all great leaders add value. They make things better. They make people better. They make situations better. When you get around an effective leader, your life will be changed for the good. If you get around a bad leader, it's going to get worse. It's either or. And that's what I've discovered. And if we're going to have a positive leadership experience, if we're going to build our brand, we got to be aware, what do we possess that adds value to others? Because I've learned that the leaders who are effective are able to use their qualities and characteristics in order to impact other people. I'm a basketball fan. I'm a Los Angeles Lakers fan. I know we're not going to playoffs this year. You're a Laker fan too? Awesome. It's real tough this year. So I've come to like LeBron James. I've always liked LeBron James, but obviously Kobe Bryant was in my heart for 20 plus years, and Magic Johnson and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. But we have LeBron. I'm very happy about LeBron. And so I look at LeBron James, and he is just an incredible athlete. He'll go down in history as one of the greatest athletes ever in NBA history. But what's so phenomenal about LeBron James is not just his ability on the court, but it's his desire to help people within his community. It's his desire to go back to Akron and to create a school for children within his community. I think that's pretty awesome. So what he has done is he's used his gift, he's used his experience, he's used his passion in order to bring value to the next generation. Part of his brand. I love Mother Teresa. Mother Teresa, I think, is so incredible. The work that she's done across the world is absolutely amazing. And it's really amazing about that Mother Teresa was able to use her passion to help those in need. She was able to be governed by her values, which of love and of service and of helping those that are less fortunate. And she's used those qualities and those characteristics in order to help other people. Again, she used what was inside of her to make a difference in other people's lives. And although we should all have the values of love and of service and have a desire to help those in need, the reality is everyone doesn't feel that way. If you agree, say, oh yeah. Everyone doesn't agree that way, but she had that quality and that characteristic and that gold, and she was able to use that to make an impact in the world. Again, someone tapping into what's inside of them to bring value to other people. And then we look at Bill Gates, and when we think about Microsoft, and we think about being a billionaire. But what's so fascinating about Bill Gates is he didn't just create Microsoft, but he actually created a foundation. And he used his intelligence, and he used his influence, and he used his experience, and he used his passion and the desire to help people in order to bring value to those that were in need in education, bring solutions to problems as far as diseases all across the world. In essence, what we see is some of the greatest leaders, not only of our generation, but throughout history, have been able to identify the qualities in order to bring value to other people. And this is this is the foundation of your leadership brand. It's identifying the qualities and the characteristics that you can use to bring value to other people. Someone say value. I love this quote by Warren Buffett. Now, again, this is business, but I think it's pretty good. He says, your premium brand had better be delivering something special or it's not going to get business. Now, this is from a business standpoint, but I think it's kind of true from a leadership standpoint as well. Because a leader, you are given the responsibility to deliver results. Those results are different based on the different circumstances and where you're leading, but at the end of the day, a leader is going to be judged by the kind of results that they get. I believe that leaders, they make others around them better. I believe that's a part of leadership. Leaders make others around them better. I believe leaders, again, make the organization better. I think leaders are profitable. Leaders are able to bring profit at some capacity, at some level. Now, again, dealing with different scenarios, different situations, that can be different. But at the end of the day, what's most important for you to understand is your leadership brand should produce results and should produce positive results. And so that's why I use this quote, because it lets us know that our brand, our leadership brand, should produce results, should make others around us better, should make our organizations better. And one of the greatest stories that I like to share is this is me, and I'm speaking in South Florida at a leadership retreat for leadership. But what a lot of people don't understand is I was 19 years of age, well, I was 18 years of age, and at 18 years of age, I had the aspiration of being a national basketball player, and went to college in Long Beach, California, had aspirations to be a basketball player, tried out for the team, and unfortunately missed it by one person. And the reason I missed the basketball team was because there was an individual that walked in the room. They were 6'10", and at the moment it was 6'2" or 6'10". They had one spot left, had a lot of guards. Figure it out. I was left out. The forward was put on the team, and I was devastated. Because for 13 years of my life, from the age of 6 to the age of 19, I had aspirations of being a basketball player. I had aspirations of being a sports broadcaster. I was very clear of what I was going to do, but at that point, I hit failure. Failure is not a bad thing, because failure is a preparation for success, and rejection is direction to something better, which became evident in my life. And so at that point, I had a communications class while I was trying to get through this challenging time in my life. And so I'm here and I'm giving my presentation, and at that moment, I discovered I had a gift to speak. And the reason I discovered the gift is because I had to do a public speech, and I'm talking, so, yeah, you're awesome, keep going, keep going. And I'm just delivering this speech, and the teacher is like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I get an A in the class. And common sense told me, if you get an A in a class, you better stick to it. And that's what I did. I stuck to it. I took more communication classes. So my next class was argumentation and debate. And in my argumentation and debate class, I was undefeated. I was 7-0. And I began to have a passion to talk. I began to get excited about talking. I always said I have a speaking personality and I have a regular personality. How I am up here can be totally different when I'm on stage, because sometimes I can be really interject. I'm a little calm today, but I have this certain type of personality, and so I discovered I had a passion. And then it was my junior year, and I was part of an organization. It was a campus ministry organization, and I'm in this group, and they said, who wants to talk? Now, obviously, I have a gift, and I'm passionate. So I said, I want to talk, and I sit here and I talk to 35 people, and literally 50% of my audience starts bawling in tears. At that point, I had an epiphany moment that I'm going to travel the world and I'm going to make an impact as a speaker. Now, at the time, I didn't know how it was going to happen. I had no direction. I had never taken a business class in my life. And one thing I tell people that want to be a speaker is speaking is great, but you better know how to market and you better know how to sell. Because being a speaker, 50 to 75% of it is selling and marketing. You got to be a marketer, and you got to be a salesperson. Now, this was challenging for me because when I graduated, I never took a business class. So understand now, I'm running a business, never taking a business class. I never had a marketing class. I never had a sales class. I never had a business development class, business administration. I don't even know what that was about. All I knew I wanted to do was I wanted to be a speaker. And so in being a speaker, I just started speaking, and I started traveling and slowly building my business up. But what I realized is the more I understood the business of creating a program that brought value to my audience, the more successful I became. I share this story because when I first started, I always talked about vision. I'm going to talk about this tomorrow, but I talk about the importance of vision. I believe with all my heart, if you're going to be successful in life, if you're going to be an effective leader, you got to have vision. Someone say vision. I realized I got to have vision, but what I realized was that people were not going to bring me on their campuses to talk about vision. It just wasn't happening. So I understood I had to start talking about leadership, and I was passionate about leadership. I love leadership, but I also knew that leadership was marketable because leadership met a need and brought value to people that were in need of leadership. And I realized that under the leadership umbrella, I could put vision. I share that with you because that's how you have to think from a brand standpoint. I had to ask myself the question, what do you possess? And then how can you use that to bring value to the audience in which you are presenting? And so my success has been based not just on me identifying my qualities or my characteristics, but it's also been being able to use that in order to bring value. And so the first step when we're creating our leadership brand is you got to ask yourself the question, what qualities, characteristics do you possess that bring value to others? Someone say values. Value. So your homework, if you're going to have homework, is you got to ask yourself, what is your strength or your gifts? What are your values? What is your passion? What is your experience? And what is your personality trait? And I'll go so far to say this because I feel it in my heart to say this. If you're not aware of what that is, you are settling short from your fullest potential. It's a good tweet right there. If you're not aware of your values, of your strength, of your passion, your experiences, or your unique personality type, you are setting yourself short from reaching your fullest potential. Because these are qualities and characteristics that are inside of each and every person in this room that position you to be effective, to be successful, not only in your personal or your career, but also as far as a leader is concerned. So the first question is, what qualities or characteristics do I possess that will bring value? Someone say value. Once we identify that, we go to number two. Give someone a high five, say number two. The second question you got to ask yourself is what group of people do you have a vision or passion to serve and impact as a leader? What group of people? I think this is so vitally important when we're dealing with the leadership brand. We know our gifts, we know our skill sets, we know our passion, but what arena are you going into? Are you going into the medical? Are you going into education? Are you going into business? Are you going into entertainment? Are you going to be an engineer? Are you going into aerospace? What arena are you going into, and what type of people are you going to serve, or do you have a vision or passion to serve? Because what I realize is you have leaders that serve in different areas and different capacities. And you have to be aware of where your targets or the people you believe you have been called to serve or to impact. It's very important. Because once I'm aware of the people, then I can become more valuable and more impactful as a leader. I love the fact that once I understand the people, once I understand the demographic, once I understand the arena in which I'm going into, I can really begin to understand what are the needs of that arena of those people. What is the culture? What are what I call the unwritten rules that you must know in order to succeed? I begin to understand what must I possess, what must I do to ensure that I'm getting a maximum impact in that particular arena or that profession I desire to pursue as a leader. Because I'll tell you, a leader and engineer will be different from a leader in entertainment. There's similar qualities that will be transferable, but then there's a uniqueness that will separate someone over here and over there. There's a difference between someone that desires to be a basketball coach and someone that desires to go into aerospace. There's going to be a difference. There's going to be some uniqueness. There's going to be different types of people. There's going to be different types of doing things. There's going to be different language. There's going to be different ways in which people operate. There's going to be different ways of thinking. And as leaders, if I'm going to be effective, someone say effective, then I got to understand the people that I'm going to reach. And I got to ask myself the question, as a leader, what do I need to do to ensure that I'm bringing value to the people that I've been called to serve as a leader? Question, so when you're leading an organization, what qualities must I possess? Who are my people? What are my people like? What are their interests? Because the more I understand the people that I serve, the more impactful I can become. One of the reasons I love this comment, it says the best brands have a thorough understanding of the demographics of their target market, what their interests are, and how they communicate. Now again, we're dealing with business, but this deals with leadership as well. Effective leaders take time to understand. Effective leaders take time to get to know people. Effective leaders, I know they care. They want to know what's going on. I was watching the Colin Cowherd show. I hope I said his name right. I was watching the Colin Cowherd show, and he was talking about, faces of the NBA. He was talking about leaders. And he was saying, this leader gets it. And when he said this leader gets it, the leader gets it because the leader is talking to people. The leader is building relationships with people. The leader is going out into the audience, is talking to people. And then you have other leaders that just are nowhere to be found. They're just like invisible. And he said the leaders that really are effective, the leaders that really make an impact are those that talk to the people, those that understand the people, those that get to know the people. It's one of the reasons why politicians, every time election season comes down, they come around, kiss the babies and all that kind of. There's a reason they do that. We're going to get to that in a moment. But you got to understand. Next quote, I love this. It says, there's only one winning strategy. It is to carefully define the market and direct a superior offer to that target market. So if you're going to win as a leader, someone say win. If you're going to win as a leader, if you're going to be effective, you got to know your people. You got to understand your people. You got to understand their makeup. Because the more I understand you, the more effective I can be at serving you and bringing value to your life. And I love this. A leadership brand, by extension, is based on marketplace expectations for the behavior of the company's representatives. So in essence, what he's saying that your brand is based on the expectation of those you serve. Oh, this is good, right? I can go into this for a minute. Because sometimes you have to adapt in order to be effective with the people you serve. See, Blockbusters went out of business because they were unwilling to adapt to the audience they were serving. Netflix is now the hot thing right now, right? Because Blockbusters was unwilling to adapt. They were unwilling to modify their brand, to modify their service, to modify the value that they bring to a certain customer because they're unwilling to change. And this is so important for us to understand as leaders. We're living in a culture where things are diverse. We're living in a culture where things are so fast and things are changing so much. And if we're not able to be agile, if we're not able to adapt, if we're not able to make adjustments to meet the needs of our audience, then we can become ineffective as a leader. And this is part of your brand. It's being able to be agile. It's being able to modify. It's being able to be what you need to be in order to reach your audience. Are you still here? I love to use this example. We do this every year. It's the Circle of Change Leadership Conference. And we host the Circle of Change Leadership Conference in Los Angeles, California. And the Circle of Change Leadership Conference is a national conference we do each year. And it brings together students from all across the country, preparing them for career leadership success. And the reason I created this conference was because literally 9 years ago, I'm not sure if you remember in 2008, some of you were probably really young at the time, but in 2008 there was a recession. And students were going to school, they were graduating, but they were still underemployed. And they weren't, they were in great debt. Well, we're still in great debt, I guess. But ultimately they were graduating school and they really weren't getting the job that they thought they were going to get once they went through school. And one of the things I discovered when I was getting my master's at the time is I discovered there was a lack as far as not only leadership development, but career development as well, or a term that they use now is called career readiness. I noticed there were some things that could be done better. And so I identified the problem, and so I created this conference. Now, again, as I said, I don't know if I shared with Ryan earlier, but my first year, if I showed you the pictures, the first year versus 9 was so much better. And I tell people all the time, your first year is always the worst, so you just got to do something. And it's not to be negative, it's just what it is. I think we learned when we were younger, first is the worst, second is the best. I just realized that was a true statement. Because when you first do something, it's never going to be the best. You're just getting started, you're getting better and better and better. And so I realized after 9 years, we definitely got better. And we've definitely reached more students, we've been more profitable, it's been more impactful because we have these great speakers, we have these leadership coaches, we have these students from all across the country, we have these professionals from companies that are, top Google and Facebook and the Oprah Winfrey Show. We had someone from there one time. It's a variety of other people that serve in these panels to empower students with the skill sets to become successful once they graduate. And at the end of the day, the reason why I think the conference has been so successful, the reason why I'm sitting here today, and I'm in amazement that we're getting ready to have our 10th annual conference in this year. The reason I'm so shocked, the reason I believe it's been so good is because not only was I able to identify our qualities and characteristics that bring value, but the conference has been able to meet the needs of students that come to the conference. It's been able to meet the needs. One audience that we've been really good is first generation students. And I've identified that. Every year we have a lot of first generation students. And the conference has been very impactful with first generation students. I've actually intensified my reach with first generation students because I've realized how impactful the experience has been for first generation students. But as I was doing some research on first generation students, I came across some research that was pretty eye-opening to me. I realized that one of the challenges of a first generation student is not just to graduate college, that in itself is them, but what do you do when you graduate? What do you do once you get your degree? Because that's a whole nother challenge. It's one thing to get through school, but then the next thing, what do you do once you graduate? Do you even know what you want to do? Do you know what your major is? What's going to happen when you graduate? And sometimes we're so focused on graduating, which is important, that we forget about the career aspect of it. And in reality, if we're going to be successful, we got to be concerned about school and career. Because at the end of the day, the reason why you go to school, I'm assuming, is ultimately to get a job. Would you agree? Or a career. Let me not say a job, but a career. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm going to school so I can better my life, so I can get a degree. I mean, I know they say you go to higher education to, be more smart and be more brilliant. But at the end of the day, if we were to be honest, in America, most people are going to school to position themselves for career success. Would you all agree with that? Maybe make more money as well. At the end of the day. But again, you got to know how to navigate and how to position yourself for success. And so I think the reason why it's been so beneficial is because the conference has been able to meet a need, has been able to impact a group of people, because the more and more I understand my audience and see the need, the more I can bring value there and make their lives better. By the way, this is leadership. Leadership brings value to people that need to be empowered. That's what leaders do. And so if I'm going to have a quality leadership brand, then I got to have a brand that understands and is focused on helping those that I've been called to serve. And so as I close out this part of my presentation, the second thing you've got to ask yourself is, what group of people do you have a vision and passion to serve and impact as a leader? Oh, this is so important. Who are you called to serve? Who are you called to reach? What industry are you going into? Because this is going to affect the leadership brand that you create. So I've identified my qualities and characteristics, but now I've identified the audience that I'm passionate about impacting as a leader. Sierra says she wants to be an elementary school teacher, correct? So her audience may be different from somebody else's audience. Her audience is going to be kids. My daughter is in 4th grade right now. She will be teaching my daughter. And let me tell you something. It's a generational shift. What my daughter is doing now, I was like, this is real. Like I went to a father-daughter dance, and she's doing some dance. I was like, I don't know what that is. Like, okay, that's your generation. I don't know if you, I don't even know. And then this, okay, I'm going to do. I mean, my daughter's just, it's just different. And in order to reach her generation, there's going to be some things Sierra's going to have to do differently than what I would do reaching the people that I'm supposed to reach to be an effective leader. Are you still here? And you got to figure out, let me understand these people. Let me understand the people that I'm serving, and how could I be most effective at bringing value and impacting their life? This is part of leadership. This is part of your leadership brand. So those are the first two questions. We're going to get to number 3. So someone say number 3. The third question you got to ask yourself is what type of leadership brand statement must you create to attain maximum impact? So once we identify our value and once we identify our audience, we merge them together to create what I call our leadership brand statement. Someone say leadership brand statement. We got to create our statement now, because we understand our value, we understand our audience. Now we're going to create our statement, because this is what's going to keep us focused. This is what's going to give us direction. This is what's going to help us be aware of what we're doing as a leader. And so a leadership brand statement defines the experience that others have when they're in relationship with you as a leader. So your leadership brand statement is what people are going to experience when they meet you. What's their experience? What's memorable to them? What excites them? What are they going to say about you? What is unique about you? I'm going back to Sierra. When Sierra's an elementary school teacher, what's going to be unique about Sierra that's different from all the other teachers? What's going to cause this kid to say, I was in 4th grade and that teacher, I will never forget her. She changed my life. Because this happens. Are you still here? But you got to figure out, what is your brand statement? What is your leadership brand statement? What do you see? What are you creating? We can't create unless we have a picture of what that looks like. I'll give you an example. This is one for GE. They said a GE leader can be trusted to be a strong conceptualist, as well as a decisive thinker, an inclusive, competent team leader, and a confident expert in his or her field. This is a leadership brand statement for a leader at General Electric. This is their brand. This is their focus. This is what people should expect when they see a leader at GE. Another one, this is one we do for our Circle of Change Leadership Conference. It's a simple one. I want to be known for being independently innovative, deliberately collaborative, and strategically results-oriented so that I can deliver superior financial outcomes for my business. This is a leadership brand statement. These are examples. What you have to do is you have to ask yourself the question, what is my leadership brand statement going to be? What is my statement? When I walk into a room, what are people going to experience? When I walk into a room, what are people going to remember? When I become a leader, what can people expect? This is part of your leadership brand, and it's important because this brand is going to keep you focused. This brand is going to help you understand how you're adding value to other people. This brand or this statement is going to help position you for success as a leader. Because the truth be told, your leadership brand will position you for success. If you have the right brand, you can position yourself for success. Well, I love this quote. If opportunity doesn't come knocking at your door, build a brand. I love this. An effective personal brand yields influence, and with it, you're likely to enjoy steady stream of clients, rewarding partnerships, leadership opportunities, greater mind share, association market alone, greater credibility, recognition and prestige, higher perceived value. Your brand affects how people perceive you. Your brand affects your value. Your brand affects your effectiveness. At the end of the day, your brand can affect your success. Which is why this is such an important conversation when we do a leadership. Is what are the nonverbal impact of who you are as a leader? What type of impact are you going to make that other people cannot see? So this is what a brand does. What's going to cause people when they think about something, I want that person because I remember how they made me feel. I love what Maya Angelou says. Maya Angelou says it's not what people say, but it's how they make you feel. You remember how they make you feel. At the end of the day, to be honest with you, like I'm saying all this information, but you're going to remember how I made you feel. The way I made you feel is what you're going to remember about me as a speaker. It's part of your brand. You're going to remember that I had the music on because not all speakers have music, right? That's going to be part of my brand. There's other things as well. You got to be clear about what that is. And I don't want to go political, but I do want to use this example of Democratic Republic. By the way, I'm independent, so don't throw tomatoes at me up. But when we do it politics from a brand standpoint, if you're going to elect a candidate, the first thing that I believe that you're going to do is you're going to ask yourself the question, what qualities is the candidate bringing to the people they serve? What have they done? What do they believe in? What is their story? What is their experience? Which is why when if you ever hear a politician, they're always going to talk about my experiences. I remember when I did this at a young age and I overcome. It's part of their brand to add value. Are you still here? And then once they identify their characteristics and their qualities, then what they're going to do, they're going to say, okay, who am I targeting? Because any political leader understands they're not going to reach everyone, but they're going to reach some people. And if they can just reach the right group of people and the right amount of people, they can get into office. Any political leader understands I'm not reaching everyone, but I'm going to reach someone. And so the question is, how can I be effective at using what I have in order to best serve my community? So once the politician understands that I've identified my value, I've identified my audience, then they create the brand statement, the leadership brand. Some of you are maybe familiar with this. I think the term is called a stump speech. It's the speech that a politician says everywhere they go. So a politician will show up over here. Back in here I did this. And then they'll go over here. It's the same story. Modifications based on the audience. Changes of words based on the audience. But the whole goal is to create this authentic persona, this credible person that's going to inspire others to want to go and vote for this person. It's the whole purpose. of this brand, and it's one of the reasons why what a person wears is so important. They say be presidential. Even the way you look and the way you talk and the way you walk and the way you do a handshake, all this, even the words you use. I'm getting real deep now, but even though, it's so meticulous, and the same is true as you begin to evolve as a leader. Your nonverbals could be more powerful than what you actually say. I believe Stephen Covey says this. He says people are more impacted by what you do versus what you say. Your actions can actually be more powerful than what you say. And so when I'm creating my brand statement, my leadership brand statement, what it's doing is it's giving me a picture of what I am creating and what I see myself being as a leader. Now, this shouldn't be fake because this is authentic. This should be developed out of your true nature. You're creating your characteristics out of the value. This is who you are. Your target audience, this is who you want to reach. I think the most effective brands are authentic. But you got to have a question. You got to ask yourself a question. Well, what is my brand? What does that look like? What do I represent? If you're going to hire me as a leader, what am I bringing to the table? It's a good elevator pitch. What am I bringing to the table? We all have something to bring to the table. But you got to figure out, what are you bringing to the table? And what are you bringing to the table that someone else is not bringing to the table? When you go on a job interview, what are you bringing? Everyone's going to be able to do certain things, but the ones that separate themselves are going to have something that others don't have. And there's something unique about you. You just got to figure out what it is. And also, let me just go a step farther. You'll realize once you have your brand, you'll realize there's certain places you should not go and certain places you should go. Because the culture or the organization you represent can impact your effectiveness as a leader. If you're in a toxic culture, no matter how great of a leader you are, it's a good chance you're going to fail. Are y'all still here? So I have my brand statement. So Josh, I have my brand statement. So I've identified the qualities and characteristics to bring value. I've identified my target audience that I have a passion and vision to serve. And now I have my brand statement. Someone say brand statement. Now we get to the hardest part. You got to build the brand. This is the hardest part. Now you have to build. Because this is the thing. Just because you have a brand doesn't guarantee you're going to see the benefits of the brand. Because the most powerful part of the leadership brand is not in the creation of it, it's actually in the application of it. It's what you do once you create the brand. In essence, your leadership brand is not built on creation, it's built through your authenticity, your consistency, character alignment, reputation, and continued value to your audience. So your brand becomes most powerful through consistency, through delivering on what you said you were going to deliver on, through character. I define character is an ability to meet the needs and the demands of a people in an excellent manner, whatever that may be. It's where you're actually not just talking, you're actually doing. It's continued value. You're continuing to add value. You're continuing to make things better. You're continually evolving. Your reputation. I know that person's good. I already know. You're so good at what you've done. You have so much experience that you just have a reputation. It's like Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan has a reputation. Michael Jordan walks in the room, oh my gosh, greatest basketball player ever. There's already a persona. If certain presidents walk in the room, oh my gosh, that's the president. There's a persona. If certain entertainers, there's a reputation. And the reputation has been built through adding consistent value to the people that you serve. Which is why I think it's so powerful actually that we're talking about this today. Because your brand doesn't begin once you graduate, your brand begins right now. You can start creating your brand right now. And you know what's so amazing right now? You can make so many mistakes while you're in school that you may not be able to make once you get into the real world. Like there's projects you can make mistakes. Like I say this all the time. Like when I was younger, there's certain risks I could take. And if I go broke, I'm just going to be broke, but I'll figure it out. But once you have a family, it's a whole different dynamic. Because if I make a bad mistake, it could affect my entire family. Are y'all with me? So now you get a chance to work on your brand, to work on your character, work on your responsibility, to work on your integrity, to work on your character, to work on your gifts, to work on your strengths. You have a chance to your work ethic. your collaboration, your teamwork. You have a chance to work on your brand right now. Once you identify, you start to work, you start to develop. And then once your brand becomes so powerful and builds such a reputation, you start to see the benefits of your brand. I love this, what he says, overall, because brand is about creating and sustaining trust, it means delivering on promises. Someone say delivering on promises. The best and most successful brands are completely coherent. Every aspect of what they do and what they reinforces everything. In essence, you know what you're getting. You know it's going to be delivered. If you're going to be the leader, I know what kind of leader I'm getting. I'm going to get A plus B plus C plus D. Helps me make better decisions as well. What are people getting when they hire you? What are organizations getting when you become the leader of that organization? This is for you to figure out. I love this quote. Be consistent, be honest, deliver what you've promised, and the reputation you build will be the ultimate persuader. This is when it gets good. When you're so good, you don't even have to talk about it. Your work does the talking. I love what one of my mentors, he's a speaker, always says. He says, allow other people to sing your praises. Allow other people to talk about you. I think it's a biblical proverb as well. But allow other people to talk about you. That's the most powerful marketing tool, word of mouth. When other people advocate for you, when other people talk about you. And that happens through reputation. That happens through consistency. That happens through value. That happens through delivery. And a great example of this concept is I have a friend, he works at Sherwin-Williams. My friend, one of my best friends, and we went to school together. And when he graduated, he had a manager training position in Richmond, California. And he was running the store. So he was running the paint store, and he was responsible for the entire store. And every so often, his district manager would come and they would visit. And, he was a high character person. He ran his store well. He had integrity. He had good character. He had all the qualities of an effective leader. And because of what he expressed as a leader, someone came and tapped him on the shoulder and said, we got this position. And based on how you work and based on your leadership, based on your brand, they didn't say that, but I'm just saying, we got another position for you. And so because of his brand, he got promoted. So he was there and he was a recruiter. And so he would travel to campuses and he would recruit. Different positions, same character, same personal brand, same person, work ethic, character, integrity, did his job well, very likable, built relationships. Got tapped on the shoulder. There's a job in Denver, Colorado. It's a promotion. Most people who have went here have had challenges, but we think you can do the job. They trusted his brand. They trusted his character. He goes to Denver. Work ethic, responsibility, integrity, builds relationship, effective leader, cares about people, treats people right, does the job well, goes above and beyond, gets tapped on the shoulder. We got another position for you. Director of another place in Dallas. So he goes to Dallas, and now he's director. Same work ethic, same character, same integrity. He's built a reputation. He's consistent. He's responsible. He gets a tap on the shoulder. We want to make you vice president of this major company. So now he's vice president. And understand this is a huge company. I believe it's the biggest paint company in the world, if I'm not mistaken. And he's vice president of a region at the age of 39 years of age because he built his leadership brand. He built a brand that people could trust. He built a brand that people could believe in. He built a brand that people say, you know what? You'd be a good face for our company. Because the higher you go in a company, the higher you go in an organization, your actions matter, what you do matter, especially for a major company like Sherwin-Williams. And he understands that he had the character, he had the leadership, he had the reputation, he had the consistency, he had the value that's enabled him to not only be promoted and have leadership and personal success, but even more importantly, to have leadership success and make an impact in people's lives because he's built a positive leadership brand. And while he's on the job, now people email him to go speak. Now people say, we want you to come talk consistently because of the brand in which he's created. And so what this taught me was it taught me that if I'm going to be successful in my personal life, I'm going to be successful in my career, if I'm going to be successful as a leader, then the first thing I got to do is I got to ask what qualities or characteristics do I possess that brings value? And the second thing that I realized that we said earlier is what group of people do I have a vision and a passion to impact and serve? And then I got to ask myself the question, what's my brand statement? What is my leadership brand statement going to look like? And then what am I going to do to build my leadership brand? What's my action plan? What do I need to develop in order for my brand to be so powerful that people connect with me based on my reputation? Can I share a secret with you? So I do circular change, and we bring in these professionals from these major companies. I mean, vice presidents, executives. And you know what they all tell me? I haven't had a resume in 25 years. What? I haven't had a resume in 25 years. So what do you mean? I said, I don't have a resume. Because their brand and their reputation causes jobs to come in their direction. They get on the shoulder based on their work. And I just believe with all my heart, I feel inspired right now. I believe with all my heart, if you create the right brand and you're consistent, I just believe jobs will look for you. I know it's a powerful statement to say. I'm going to have to go study this tonight. Okay, I'm having an inspirational moment. I have these kind of moments, by the way. I have these moments, and I'm having one right now. The job will look for you if you create the right brand. It'll look for you. In unknown places, something unique about that person, something special about that person. There's something about that, because that's who you are. That's you living out your brand. It attracts and impacts people. People remember who you are. So as I close tonight, my encouragement to you is this, that as you begin this leadership journey, begin to ask yourself the question, what is my leadership brand? And not just now, but also once you graduate as well. Well, give yourselves a round of applause. Awesome. It's 8 o'clock. Are there any questions? So this is my contact information, my email, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook. But before we close tonight, are there any questions that anyone would like to, anything you want to ask me? I'm ready to hear. Any questions, comments, concerns, anything? There's none. My first job after college is I was a production assistant for the Wayne Brady Show. No, actually I was a production assistant for the Grammys. So I actually used to work the production assistant for the Grammys. I don't know how I did it. But literally we had to be up at work 7:30, we wouldn't get off till 12 o'clock. And we worked like 14 straight days. And I did a lot of driving around Hollywood, and I was picking up stuff, lifting up stuff, like Staples Center, been all through there. Got to interview, met Justin Timberlake, Britney Spears at the time she was popular, Beyonce, Alicia Keys. No, I met all these people. I used to videotape, true story, when I met Beyonce, I was single at the time, and I've always thought she was attractive. And so she came to me and I met her, and she said, hi, how are you doing? And I was so mesmerized, well, what is your name? It's the stupidest thing in the world, right? And to this day, I'm like, man, I should have just really just tried to talk to her. My earpiece fell, but, sorry. But I should have tried to talk to her. I'm like, to this day, I'm kind of mad at myself for that. But yeah, it was an incredible experience. And I was on the Wayne Brady Show. So yeah, it was my first jobs. Yeah, journey's been interesting. Yes. Ooh, there's a lot of people. Okay, as far as leadership, I would definitely say my master's program. I think it was in my master's program where I really learned more about leadership and realized that when I was in school, I had a lot of things that I needed to work on. And I wish I would have known what I knew in my master's program when I was starting as a leader, because I would have made a lot of better decisions. And then I had a coach. She's based in South Carolina now, but she was my first coach as far as speaking. So she had a huge impact on my life. Just telling me what to do, teaching me the business, being honest with me, being truthful with me. Then also, I'm in church, so a lot of my pastors at the time had a huge influence on me as well. So I think those are the three people. My dad, too. I think my dad had a real huge impact on me as well. And my grandmother too, So those are the 5 people that I think really had a huge impact on me. And it evolves because there's more people you meet and you grow. Awesome. Any other questions? Well, I'm done. I don't have nothing else to say. I want to thank you all so much for coming out tonight. I really hope, more importantly, that you'll take this information, that you'll apply it. Often say knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. So the knowledge does not become power until we actually apply it. So I hope you apply it. I hope you use it. And as you use it, I'm super excited about what you're going to become as you create your leadership brand and make your impact in the world. But I think we're done. Thank you all so much. And I will see y'all tomorrow. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.